Hi friends, welcome to Data 220 in Spring 2019. This is a small video that I'm putting together to help explain my grading system, how it works, how you can use it to support your own learning, and why we're using it. The first thing that I want to talk about is why we're using this grading system. There's a more complete discussion of this in the syllabus, but I wanted to give you some highlights here. First of all, this is a grading system that helps you focus on the right things. Traditional grading systems make you focus on how many points you get, whatever a point is in some kind of test or assessment or whatever. This grading system helps you focus on what things you understand and how you can demonstrate it rather than how many points you can earn on some kind of test question. It also helps you learn to meet professional quality standards. This is important because, like, in the real world, there's no such thing as partial credit, right? If you're building a bridge, it either stands and works, or it collapses, and then you are extremely in trouble. You don't get partial credit for the bridge standing for, like, a while. It also helps you to learn from your mistakes. This is a really important piece of learning, again, especially in the real world. We generally don't have answer keys in the real world, and so the only thing that we can do is to do our best, and then if we don't meet standards, then we can reflect on what we did and see how to improve. It also means in the end that your final grade is more meaningful. Instead of saying, oh, I accrued 567 out of a possible 632 points, whatever that means, I can instead say, here are all of the standards that I met. Here are the topics and contents that I mastered. And then that helps you to have a better idea of what you leave the class knowing. A key part of this grading scheme is the the scale of letter grades that I use, which is called EMPX. More about this in the syllabus again, but I wanted to give you some highlights. Each of these letters, EMPX, stands for a particular word that I use to describe whether or how well your work meets professional quality standards. The E stands for excellent. This is basically super good. I could use it as an answer key as a classroom example. It's so clear that you know what you're doing. There are like only maybe just super minor, super trivial mistakes, like maybe you did a typo or something. The M stands for meets expectations. Here it's clear that you know what you're doing. Maybe there's a few small mistakes, but nothing that couldn't be fixed. It's clear that I don't have to spend any more time with you helping you to understand the ideas in the assessment. The P stands for progressing. The idea here is that you're getting there. You kind of know what you're doing, it seems like. I'm not quite sure that you have all the ideas. I'd like you to spend a little more time thinking about some important mistakes that you made. And then finally, the X, it's kind of just, I don't know exactly what the X stands for, but the idea is that I don't have enough information to tell whether or not you know what you're doing yet. And so I can't give you a more meaningful piece of feedback. So this is what I use when your work is irrelevant, like substantially incomplete, like more than half of it is missing, or when it's just so unclear that I can't make heads or tails of what it is that you're doing. The key idea in this grading system is that both E and M count because they show that you have met my important professional quality standards, and then P and X don't count. But then you'll have some opportunities to revise your work that doesn't demonstrate mastery. This is sort of like the key to the entire grading scheme, and I really want to encourage you to take advantage of rewriting and revising your work. The basic idea is that anything that's at a P or an X, anything that's progressing or that I don't have enough evidence on, can be revised and resubmitted. In general, you have a week after the thing comes back to you on Canvas. So it'll be pretty clear when your things are due because like you'll know when I released it back to you, and then you'll have a week from that day. A key component of the revision process is that your rewrites must include detailed, and I mean detailed, reflection. So here are some things that you might think about when you're writing your reflections. Oh, I guess I should say the reason why I'm looking for reflection here is because that's really how you learn. It's not enough to be able to fix your mistakes. you really have to think about what it is that you did, and in order to learn from it. So some things that you might include in a reflection, excuse me, are like, okay, here are the things that I did right, and then I made a mistake right here. When I originally was writing this, I made this mistake because blah, blah, blah. But then when I went back and looked at the book some more, I figured out that really blah, blah, blah. Do you see what I mean? So this kind of thing drives you back into the material and really helps you not just fix your mistakes, but understand your mistakes and truly learn from them. I want to say that I've used this system of revisions and reflections in previous classes, and my past students have told me that they all really appreciated this process. Even though it can seem like a lot of work, it really helps you understand the basic material, and then it helps the rest of the class go a lot easier. One more caveat that I'll say here is that you should really work on things early. You have a week to do them, but if you wait until day 6, then you're not going to be able to put in really the amount of time that might be necessary in order to truly understand what you did wrong, learn from your mistake, and fix it. Okay, so this system is complicated. I will grant you this at the outset. So I've made a tool for you that I call the Grade Progress Tracker. It looks like this. My face is kind of in the way of it in the bottom corner here, but I'll be posting this on Canvas, and it's linked in the syllabus so you can see it. The idea is that you can check off the boxes in this Grade Progress Tracker as you complete stuff, and then you sort of level up through each of the assessment categories when one of the big boxes is filled up. This is a good way for you to keep track of how things are going, what you need to be spending more time on, and how the class is going for you. So I want to give you a little bit of an example. So I want to point your attention to the D box in the pre-class and in-class quizzes category. You'll see that there are, 13 little boxes in there. So as you complete reading quizzes, you get to check off each of these little boxes as you complete them. So there we go. I've completed 7 of the reading quizzes. Okay, so then once you've completed enough to fill up that box, you can sort of say, hooray, I have leveled up, I've completed that box, yay, and then I get to start filling out things in the next box up. So here's how you calculate a final letter grade, and I think this will again help illustrate what the Grade Progress Tracker is doing. What you do in a nutshell is you find the number of grade points in each category, like so. This is sort of the standard, grade points thing. You compute the weighted sum of the grade points, and the weights are given in the left-hand column. Some kinds of assignments are a little more important than others. And then you translate these back into a letter grade, again using sort of the standard GPA calculation techniques. So let me give you an example. Let's say that Maria, some student in this class, had done the following stuff. So she's done 21 of the pre-class quizzes, she did 17 R modules, she did 12 of the written homeworks, she got a 75 and an 80 and a 90 on the exams, and then she did an excellent job on the term project. Okay, let's help her fill out her Grade Progress Tracker, and then we can figure out what her final grade would be. Here's what her filled out Grade Progress Tracker would look like. So notice in the pre-class and in-class quizzes, we said that she had completed 21 of those. So you'll see that 21 of those boxes, those little boxes in that category, are checked off. Similarly, we said that she had done 17 R module assignments, and you can see that 17 of the little boxes in that row are marked off. And then you can see similarly, the other things are marked off in her various categories as appropriate. Okay. So the key thing that we need to do here is we need to figure out what's the highest full box in each category. So in particular, let's just look at the 21 pre-class assignments, and then I'll let you figure out the rest of the rows on your own. So the 21 pre-class assignments fills out completely the D, C, and B boxes. Right? So you can see all of the little boxes in each of those big boxes are completely checked off. However, it doesn't quite fill out the A box. There are a couple of things. She would have needed one more pre-class quiz in order to fill out the A box. And so you do that for all of the different assessment categories, and it'll look something like this. Okay, so you can see we've checked off the B box in the pre-class quizzes category. We've checked off the C box in the R module homeworks category. We've checked off the A box in the written homeworks category, etc., etc. All right, so then we can figure out how many grade points she's earned in each of the categories. So in the pre-class assignments, the pre-class quizzes category, since the B box is filled, she gets 3 grade points in that category. So she gets 3 in the pre-class quizzes category, 2 in the R module homeworks category, etc., etc. All right, so now we're going to compute the weighted sum. You'll see each of these assessment categories has a certain weight associated with it. So in the pre-class quizzes, the weight is 5%. So we take our 3 grade points, we multiply it by 5%, and that gives us 0.15, et cetera, for the rest of them. And then all we have to do is add all of those together. We get a total of 3.2. 3.0 is a B, and a 3.3 is a B plus. So she definitely gets a B. She might get a B plus. These kind of edge cases I often resolve with reference to like how many classes did the student attend, how much did they participate, blah, blah, blah. Okay, the last and important thing that I want to say here is that if any category is below a D, except for the exams, you can't get a passing grade. The reason for this is to make sure that you work on all of the key components of the course. So you can't just like totally skimp on the pre-class quizzes or, you know, totally skimp on doing the R modules and hope that the rest of your stuff is strong enough to carry you through. I just want to make sure that you're engaging at least a reasonable level with all of the components of the course. All right, so that's my little video. Let me know if you have any questions. I hope that this will help you understand what's going on here. Feel free to email me. That's my email address here. Or you can use the Canvas messaging thing. It goes right to my inbox, so either way. All right. Hopefully that was helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing you in class.